Honest J. Nowak. Coming at you live. Alright. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak, Season 2. And so, time to go on with some more material here. Yesterday, I've had to pretty much end a marathoning session that should have ended a little while ago, but after all this time that's basically passed, been probably like, what, 10 days since the last time I've done this? It's now time I get back to this in a pretty serious matter, because now we're going to be going with some more marathoning sessions. Actually, what I could do for a few days is just have some mini marathons, if you will. Starting with a few that I have right here. Grades for number 912. Now, I'm not necessarily just talking about grades based on the letter variety that most academic facilities typically use, ranging from S, A, B, C, D, and F, sometimes beyond that spectrum. But I'm also going to be talking about grades that are in fact relative to hills and inclines, especially when transporting in certain transportation, like trains and cars. I'll go ahead along with the letter grades first, because it's pretty much important to know that this sort of thing out there is a pretty big deal. Lots of people in schools might actually not necessarily have the tendency to do a lot out there. But when you consider myself a red-blooded American liberal, then I certainly have a lot on my mind right now. Probably too much on my mind right now. But yet, when you really think about what most education is like, I don't necessarily see a whole lot out of this, pretty much. There's a lot of changes that I could definitely showcase to the world about how we could have education. If education really is that necessary, then maybe it probably would be alright to take place, but the year is 2021, not 1982. There's a huge difference in terms of how these times have shifted from the past to the present. We're practically living in the future already for a variety of reasons, but definitely not like how it was shown in most pop culture. We certainly do not have anywhere close to having actual authentic flying cars. The closest that we possibly gotten to is a dune buggy that can in fact paraglide along the air, but only for a short period of time and to a certain unprecedented distance from liftoff to touchdown, pretty much. We're also having ourselves a variety of other different things out there, including smart houses and some rather interesting quirks when it comes to the utilization of our global marketplace. There's really a lot of innovation that's unfolded. But the main thing that I really want to talk about when it comes to grades and schools is just the fact that they rank exactly what your performance is like academically. Considering how I myself, especially throughout the last 3 years of my high school career, had basically given a lot of A's with a few lower grades at most. That probably had made me an average individual. But yet, who could ever forget the time that I once had a huge IQ recorded? Way bigger than that of Stephen Hawking or Albert Einstein or the majority of other well-known high IQ scientists from the past 100 years. So by any means necessary, those kind of grades are indeed sufficient enough. But let's get on and go into another variety of grades, which have to do with steeps and inclines. If you're familiar with most films and the like that happen to do with transportation, you probably know that a sequence of events that would follow would have to do with something based off of a mountainside or cliffside, and the kind of grades that are typically used would range from this to this, and sometimes even beyond that typical spectrum, of which it's a big 90-degree difference. But by all means, pop culture has its variety in terms of what kind of thrills that they can send their viewers crashing down and getting engulfed in the pure entertainment that is in fact American cinema. and even international cinema. But in any case, it's pretty impressive. And we have ourselves a lot of other things that would have to do with grades, but yet I feel like I've prattled on long enough on this whole part. So I guess we'll just go ahead and let the notepad give us something different later on, because we're going to be doing some mini marathons for a little while. So if you want to see more go down on my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.